Yeah, welcome to a festive edition of the West Cork League podcast with me, your host, Jerry McCarthy. You can follow me on Twitter at JerryMcCarthy74. It's been a busy Christmas period of the West Cork League across all the various divisions and cups, and the new year is going to be no less hectic with a lot of games coming up over the first weekend of the new year. Lots to talk about, lots to get through, and I'm delighted to say that due to popular demand, one of our most celebrated guests from earlier in the season is back for a very special Christmas and New Year's appearance, and that's Clonakilty Town Manager John Leahy. Now, John, I understand you're suffering from a very, very difficult, horrible disease, man flu, is that correct?
Oh yeah, George, it's awful, isn't it? Know yourself, terrible. Women don't understand it all.
They don't. They really, really don't. We've probably lost half the listenership there now, but anyway, we'll move on. Good to see that you're battling on through and you're going to help us get through the next couple of games and stuff. Before we look back on the 29th of December results, that's last Sunday, in the various games, there was two significant games completed prior to that, over the Christmas period, due to the bad weather. One of those games, before we talk about your own Clontown, was an important league game between Leahy Rovers and Drina. It ended 1-1, mostly, and it was a big game for both teams.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was at the match myself actually, and Drina basically dominated the whole game. They were well on top, and Leahy's finish was outstanding and goal wide just after half time put Drina ahead, and it looked like they had the game wrapped up. And Leahy had a penalty, but they hold them and goal saved it, good save. And I think it was the 93rd minute, Leahy got their last second free kick, and free came in, and Conor McCarthy equalised, and it was a great point for Leahy. Great point for Leahy, but Drina weren't at their game at all that day. I thought myself as they weren't putting up front as they usually are, but it was a back that you play teams in the bottom that are struggling at the moment. They're fighting for their lives, and Leahy as well. So great point for Leahy, but still a good point for Drina though. Wait till Leahy.
It is, and it's only the second time in 8 games, at that stage, at 8 games now, that they hadn't, or they'd failed to win. But even looking at the league table, just a quick look at the league table, mostly, their defence, they've only conceded 6 goals all season. That's really where they're being rock solid so far.
It is, yeah. Their defence is seriously strong all the time. Like with JJ and Driscoll there the whole time, they're fierce strong. And as I said, you look at the table, Ballyhopper on 17, we're in 16, the men return are creeping back up there now again, but as one of my favourite films of all time, A Bridge Too Far, I think it's A Bridge Too Far for Sarsfield.
That's a lovely sentiment. We'll get to that later on, and who the real challengers are and where it might come in the new year. You're not off the hook just yet, but
excuse me.
You're okay. You also had a very, very impressive win in the Gareth O'Driscoll Cup prior to Sunday 29th of December at home to Mizzen AFC, and I was covering that game, and you can read a match report and photographs from that game in this week's Southern Star. But an excellent performance by your team that day to win 5-0.
No, in the Parkway Cup, the
Parkway Mabry Cup.
Yeah, I guess we're missing a few ourselves. Ourselves Christmas on St. Stephen's Day. A few lads were a bit under the weather from, I won't call it man flu. But we're missing product was there for the first half an hour, and Alan Murphy scored a great goal for us ahead. And look, I presume our bit of experience told in the second half, especially playing in Dara. We're well used to playing that pitch, and look, we went out. We got a few early goals second half and killed Mizzen off. But look, fair play to Mizzen coming all the way over to us on St. Stephen's Day. Savage for Daniel and the lads, to come over, and they've other things to worry about, not the Parkway Cup,
That's true, and just on that, I corrected myself, as you said, the Parkway Mabry Coaches Cup. You're into the semi-finals of that now, and you're at home, and you've got a real opportunity now, possibly to make a final and possibly lift a trophy, which is something you were looking forward to at the start of the season.
Yeah, look. I said probably in the podcast I did say we target one of the cups. Look, we were home semi-final. Bunratty looked dead. Bunratty's going to be tough. You've seen them play Joy, young lads, and you can't. When you're playing a Premier Division team, it doesn't matter who you're playing. Look, it's going to be a tough game. We'll have to be on our best to get anything out of that game again,
Yeah, and that's the thing, Bunratty, even though their league form is poor, an opportunity to win a cup means that they'll bring a strong team, because they're only one step away from a cup final as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, spot on, they're only one step away, and they'll be targeting this as well, They'll have doesn't interfere coming to play us, absolutely nothing,
And moving on from that and going to last Sunday, 29th of December, back into the Premier HighSpecCars.com Premier Division, you followed that up with a very, very important win, a narrow 1-0 win at home, and a goal scorer, his third goal in 2 games, the evergreen, the veteran, whatever cliche you want to use, but a man in form for you, Mr. Noel Jordan.
Oh, he's like a fine wine, sure. I only bring him out every now and again. and I put him back in his cupboard now again, I say, for a couple of months again. Yeah, but look, that man, been there, done it, Munster Senior League and everything. He's had 4 clubs with years, and you know him well as well, Ger.
I do.
He's a pure poacher, like, you know. He's like Leo Flynn on goal. He's doing nothing for you. He'll be in the 6-yard box and score your goal. But that was a battle. That was a battle yesterday with Tyrese team. Absolute dog-eat-dog battle. And look, they came out top by the yard goal. Look, and Doris could have nicked something because they fought tooth and nail for that game. So, like, Doris they're on 10 points and they're in a bit of a struggle now. But I still expect Tyke and his crew to keep out because their home form is very good, like. But look, yet again, I'd like to thank Clonakilty AFC Underage Committee for giving us the pitch as well. You know, it's fantastic there. We used Bellavacky twice over Christmas as well as there. I got a good hockey and stuff. Oh, look, as I said, we're all friends, football friends.
That's it indeed. And just on that, I mentioned earlier on how impressive Dreena's defence has been. I think a word too for your own defence, and certainly the 2 central defenders who we saw a couple of times over Christmas, Ian O'Driscoll and Cian Crawley. They've been very, very good for you and solid this year.
Yeah, they've been very good. The 2 of them are blended in well. Look, the youth and experiences. I thought Ian, look, he's master's age this year. He'll be playing all year. He'll be playing out during the summer as well. But yeah, look, they've out the Phillips and Ruben Henry there. They've been playing well. But look, at the end of the day, the Dreamers will beat us 4-0. And we the same defence. So look, we're pushing along nicely. But look, we're a cup jar. Keep repeating.
Yeah, we'll come back to that in a minute. We'll talk about what's coming in the new year. One other game played on the 29th of December in the Premier High Spec Cars.com Premier Division, and it was a local derby and a significant game between 2 teams that know each other very, very well. Last year's league winners, Dunmanway Town, awaited last year's Beamish Cup winners, Tor Celtic. Now, it went Dunmanway's way by a 5-0 margin scoreline, but I suppose the big headline, apart from Reece Coakley and Aidan O'Donovan finding the net coming out of this game, John, Johnny Kelly, who has recently signed for Dunmanway Town, opening his account for his new club with a hat-trick against the club that he came up through the ranks with and played and won the Beamish Cup with last season.
Yeah, when I came over from our match yesterday, I just put on Twitter and he goes, "Oh, lad, he's up scoring twice." And he got a hat-trick. Like, he's a savage signing for Demenda. And like, I think they're playing Torres in 8 now again against Leahy outside. And I'm not 100% sure yet, is it on or not.
Okay.
But like, Demenda, we're on 7 points and another couple of wins, and my God, they're up second and third already. Johnny Kelly's a huge addition to him, like in a savage way. Look, sure, any team that goes to Tor and beats Tor 5-0 in their place, whoa. That's a serious marker set done by the men now already. Serious marker. And Johnny Kelly, savage addition to their team. Like, I wouldn't like to come up the Manway zone. Full strength the Manway team was very, very strong.
And that's the thing, like, I mean, he has enhanced an already talented and a young team, but like the big challenge for them mostly is the fact that they've only played 4 games for various reasons, playing in various cups. They have 4 games in hand against Drina, but what they want now is a run of consistent games to try and get up that table. It won't be easy.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. The weather there on the cups now is not the Manway's fault anymore, like, in fairness now to them. They've had 3 games called off over weather, and look, they could be up to 7 games played as well. But yeah, they need to go on a run. If that game does go ahead to us, that should be a cracker. But as I said, going to Presture, I'm not 100% sure it's an or not yet. You know? Okay. But yeah, they need to look. The jail will be kicking in soon, and Keller Shields. Hopefully, this weather will clear up and teams can get in a run of games now. Like, we were looking there over Christmas, we got 3 games in 7 days, but that's just because we had the 2 pitches working side by side, like, you know.
Very good.
Tor need to pick up points though as well. No, they're my typical start of the season, and they're starting to slip some small bit. But look, Tor will still be okay, I think, myself personally.
Yeah, I think they're missing a few players themselves at this time of year, and a couple of injuries coming into the year. Like, they've only won twice in 8 outings, and that's very un-Tor like. But I mean, as you said, they've enough experience and they've enough players to call upon between here and the end of the season that they should move up into the top half of the table. But perhaps a cup like yourselves might be their best chance of silverware. Yeah,
I'm thinking the same myself. Like, I really do. Like, it's probably a cup now again. Maybe the league title is too far for Tor now this year anyway, definitely. But look, there could be a lot of ifs and buts for the season. Like, we're only halfway through realistically, and a lot of things could change yet. But yeah, Tor probably gone from the title race now at this stage. All right, but then again, you never know if they win 7 games in a row. You never know.
I thought you'd written them off there. That would have been a good headline. But anyway, we'll come back to that. As I said, we'll have a quick look at the tables at the end of the podcast. Moving into the O'BrienWaterServices.com Championship. And remember, this league, which has been a hugely entertaining one, after everybody had played each other once, 11 games, the league is split. The top 6 will now play off for the championship and promotion to the Premier Division. The bottom 6 have got start from scratch again. They don't keep their points, and they're playing for the West Cork League Division 2 title. But a significant game and a significant result in the championship between two teams that know each other very well, two local rivals, Skibbereen and Baltimore, the Crabs, who also play at the Baltimore Road themselves. Skibbereen coming out on top 4-2 there, and again a significant hat-trick from a player who's just returned from a transfer, and that's JP Reen.
Yeah, I see the result there when I got home. Massive result there for Skibbereen and John Ellis' team again. Like JP coming back is a savage talent for them, and look, he's a Skibbereen man through and through. Didn't work out with the hob, but look, he came back and scored a hat-trick yesterday, a massive derby match, and put Skib. Look, the top two, as I said in the championship, Joe Spartak and Mason, I think, will be the top two, but you got to remember Slane, Baltimore, Riverside and Skib will be battling for the third and fourth place playoff to play the second bottom in the Premier. And I wouldn't write Skib off because they'd done it last year, Jordan. They got all the way. They snuck into the playoffs late, and they could do it again this year.
They could indeed, and even though Baltimore lost, they still have 20 points, and they're still very much in that title race. Dan McCone and Shawnee O'Donovan scoring for them. Richie Fitzgerald was the other Skibbereen player to get his name on the score sheet. So that's just the first game played since that split. Skibbereen picking up a very, very impressive win, and good to see JP Reen back. And also mostly news of another transfer back from Dunmanway to Skibbereen. That's Kevin O'Regan, a very solid defender and midfielder player. He can play in a lot of positions. He has rejoined Skib now, and he'll be another addition to them. And as you said, they have a chance.
I think they do. I think, look, everyone is talking about the other five, or Slane, Baltimore and Riverside. Skib have come from nowhere. They just snuck in the last gas game of the season when Kilbritton lost. And they've done it last year. Why not do it again this year and get to the playoffs? You never know, Joe. You never know in this division. The championship is just madness, madness.
Yeah, it is madness, and it's been very, very high quality this year. And that, whatever way we're looking at it, I think that's going to go to the last game, or the last round of games before we have any kind of final decision. The split to Division 2, though, that's going to be contested by Castleack, Dunmanway Town B, Castletown Celtic, Kilbritton Rovers, Ulta and Drina Rangers B. That kicked off this past weekend, and two very close games, 5 goals in each of them. Start again with another local derby. Ulta Celtic went down 3-2 at home to a young Dunmanway Town B team. Keane Collins, David Ring and David O'Regan on target for the visitors. Colm O'Neill and Dylan O'Flynn scoring for Ulta. But that Dunmanway Town B team, mostly as you know, it's the second string for Dunmanway, but a young team and a little bit of experience in there as well. They will fancy their chances now that everybody's starting from 0 points again, and they have every chance to upset a few teams along the way and could be a dark horse for that Division 2 title.
Yeah, I think it's consistency now, isn't that? Second division, you 10 league games, and it's all about consistency. And looking at, I always say, I've been saying about 30 years, it's a new season there for them now. Basically, it's your first 3 or 4 games. If you go on a run, you're there to the end. You are realistic, and they have a good young team. And look, they beat out and out. Back in their normal pitch again. Out to be hard to beat there, but that was a good 3 points. Good 3 points for the young team. Haven't seen them play this year, but heard good things about them.
Yeah, and as you said, a good 3 points for them, and an equally good 3 points for a team that struggled for a long period of the O'Brien Water Services Championship, and that's Castleack, and they defeated Drina Rangers B 3-2 as well. Donald Collins getting a brace, and Ger Holland also scoring for the hosts. Colm McCarthy and Jack O'Sullivan replying for the Cannon Crawley Park Club. That's a big statement win from Castleack, taking on and beating a very, very good and always well organised and well drilled Drina team.
Oh, absolutely, and Castleack finished the season strong. And I let you in the small thing, 10 players for the whole game yesterday.
Wow.
So that's even a bigger 3 points, sir. I think they put on a marker in that division, the way they finished, and now the way they started the game with only 10 players yesterday, fair play to them. But Drina B won it last year, and I would have either yet, but Castleack could be right dark horses in that to take the title there in that division.
Yeah.
Look, it's all about consistency during those 10 games now.
And definitely, if they get their full team out, as their manager told me the last time I saw them against Spartak, and they played very, very well towards the end of the season there with a full-strength squad, and hopefully Castleack will have that. They have every chance of, as you said, it's great to see themselves in the Dunmanway Town B. I know they've only played 1 round of games, join top of that table, because it puts a bit of pressure on the teams behind them, like Castletown and Kilbritton. Yeah,
everyone straight away, you go Kilbritton and Castletown would be the favourites there, straight away. But Jared and the boys in Kilbritton are on a bad little run at the moment of losing games. They need to get a win soon to get themselves up and running in Castletown. All depends on Jay. Castletown would be my tip to win that second division. Full strength Castletown team would be good enough to win that, but it all depends on what lads turn up and what lads are injured and suspended, and consistency. That's all I'll be saying about it all. You're that division now. It's about getting on a good run, which the Dunmanway B and Castleack have started already.
And just speaking of Kilbrittain, they went down 5-3 away to Mizzen AFC in the preliminary round of the Championship Cup, also on December 29th. Jerry Collins scored and Donald McCormick got a brace, but Michael O'Reilly 2, Sean Sheehan, Daniel Driscoll and Padraig Reedy goals. Mizzen AFC, as we said earlier, are obviously going to challenge for the Championship and probably definitely in the hunt for promotion, but a cup is not beyond them either.
No, Mizzen isn't there. Look, the mind result to us in St. Stephen's Day, look, these things happen, like, but yeah, Mizzen are, they've a fine team, and you go to Mizzen, as I said, look, they knocked Toro out of the Parkway Cup already. It's a game, then go ahead to Stephen's Day. I've been worried going out there myself, like, because if you get a result in Mizzen, we've drawn there the last 2 times, like, and look, they're going to win something. Look, the Championship is there from our Championship Cup, and you have the Beamish Cup as well, so they come, like, the good side in Gerald Callan, they're now playing for them as well, like, you know, good football team.
Indeed they are. So that's the complete rundown of the results from the 29th of December that we saw there over the Christmas period. And what we'll do now is have a quick check on the results at the moment that we know are penciled in over the coming days and over the new year. Now, Thursday night in Lower under floodlights at 8 o'clock. It's not confirmed yet, but a meeting of Lower Rovers and Dunmanway Town. Let's just presume it's going ahead for the moment, Mosi. They're separated by a point in the table, albeit Dunmanway have 4 games less played. A crucial game for both teams.
Oh yeah, I'll be going to that myself. That'll be juicy, Joe. That will be juicy. I think I'll be going myself to watch that. Yeah, that's going to be some game. The men, we obviously will have the exact same team they had against Toher. Lawyer, Tom and Willie, depends who will be turning up now for the lads. Like Lawyer, strong team. If they can get a few lads now before they head away back to Saudi Arabia and places, they'll be strong enough, you know. But that'll be juicy. That'll be juicy.
Indeed it will, and followed up by an even juicier game on the 5th of January, the first Sunday of January, also currently penciled in for the Premier Division. Toro Celtic at home to Ballyhob. Now Toro coming off a disappointing loss, as we said earlier on, to Dunmanway Town, but Ballyhob lying in second place in the league table, an opportunity to draw a level with Drina at the top, albeit by 2 games more played, but Toro want to bounce back and Ballyhob will want to keep their run going. That's a tough one to call.
Oh, that is fair. I couldn't call it. That's going to be tough. Like that result there with the men who tore that one happened to Tore no more for the rest of the season. Like guarantee with Johnny Collins. Yeah, that'll be tough. That'll be a tough physical battle. Couldn't call it, but Mike Helen there, he's putting Ballyhob underneath the radar there an awful lot.
He is actually. Yeah.
They're on 3 points behind, and knowing the Hob as the Hob are, they're still in there with that title shot, and that's in their heads. They're going to win the league. I will listen to Helen there half the time.
I'm listening to him all the time with the podcast, and he's very good. He's very good at downplaying their chances. Now the only problem is, well, it's not a problem, but they're going to have to beat Trina. Somebody's going to have to beat Trina, and they're going to have to beat Trina, I think, for it to be realistic. But if they can come out of Toro with 3 points, it'll put a little bit more pressure on Don and Declan, like whenever they play next in the league, and that's what you want to do with Trina. You want to keep them on their toes. Oh,
you want to keep them on their toes, like, yeah. But Trina, yeah, as I said it already, Joe, I think it's a bridge too far for all of us, like, but yeah, if Drina lose 1 game, you never know, but as I said, and I'm sticking to my word, I still think they'll go unbeaten for the whole season. So,
that's a big
too far, untouchables. The Oscar now next for Don and Declan.
Big movie theme in today's podcast. It's a recurring theme. Very interesting. There's 2 big matches coming up in the Premier Ice Cars Premier Division, and as we head into the new year, it's worth just taking a quick check at the league table. Drina Rangers top on 20 points, as you said. A game more played and 3 points behind are Ballyhob on 17. Then you're on Clontown with 8 games played and 16. You've got Doris with 10 games played. They've got 10 points, and then just 2 points separating Toher, Lower and Dunmanway, and Bunratty bringing up the rear on 0 points. But if there are 2 big games in the Premier Division, then there's 2 equally important games in the O'Brien Water Services Championship scheduled for next Sunday, and they include the joint league leaders. Spartak Musgrove are at home to Riverside Athletic at noon, and Mizzen AFC take on Salan at 2 p.m. 2 huge matches, Mosi, and that first one, Spartak will need their strongest team out now if they want to get all 3 points at the expense of Riverside.
Yeah, and Riverside need to beat them, put themselves in for top shot for the top 2. So Riverside cannot lose Sunday. Like, if Riverside lose Sunday, that's the top 2 gone from, I think, myself. Yeah, but Spartak, full strength Spartak team, I would put my money on it, like Spartak would. Full strength Spartak team will beat Riverside.
The second game, Mizzen AFC and Salan, two of the best footballing sides in that division, if not West Cork itself. They're only currently 6 points apart as they start the second half of the season, and Salan were one of the most consistent and the form teams of a very, very tough division.
Yeah, Salan, yeah. scoring a lot of goals. He had 33 goals scored in Mizen 29. So obviously it's going to be a goal fest down in Mizen. Like 5-3 Mizen are scoring goals, but they're conceding a few there now in the last few games. So it's a goal fest again, like the game before it. Salane need to get the 3 points here. If they lose and Riverside lose, that's a 9-point gap. That's a bit too much, sure. That's another bridge too far.
Have to ease off, and the bridges, there's a huge amount of bridges being built by over there over the last 6 months.
This mental was killing me, man.
We better move on quickly. So, just a quick check on that. There was only one extra game played of the second half of that season so far. As we said earlier, Skib beaten Baltimore 4-2. So Spartak start the second half of the season on 26 points alongside Mizen. Salane are 6 behind on 20 alongside Baltimore. Then you've got Riverside on 19, and now you've got Skibbereen on 19. Really nothing between those. Into the West Cork League Division 2, where all teams restart on 0 points. We already spoke about Castleack and Dunmanway winning their first games. Kilbrittain Rovers get a chance to bounce back and end that with losing streak at home to Ulta Celtic next Sunday at 11 o'clock, while Drina Rangers B and Dunmanway Town B meet in a local derby at Cannon Crowley Park at 2 p.m. Two big games for all the teams involved there. They want to get off the mark, but for Kilbrittain especially to end that run, and Drina Rangers B, they want to bounce back.
Yeah, Kilbrittain need Jerry and the boys there now need to get a result there. Done a bit of a bad run there now late there, right? I know there were a few injuries and stuff, alright. He was telling me like, but they do, yeah, and Drina B need to get a result there as well, but possibly a draw, there could be.
It's a safe one. Could be a draw, very safe bet of you. As well as that, so just before, as we said, there's only two games gone in that Division 2 so far. As we said last weekend, Castleack and Dunmanway joint top on 3 points, everybody else on 0 and looking to get off the mark this coming weekend. There are no games currently scheduled, or at least I don't have any to hand, in the Under-19 League. There may well be. Best thing to do there is to check the westcorkleague.com website every day. They've got the latest information when it comes to fixtures. But heading into the new year, Dunmanway lead that league on 13 points, 2 ahead of Bunratty, a resurgent Bunratty on 11. And the only other side unbeaten along with Bunratty are Tora Celtic on 10, followed by Riverside, Drina, Artfield, Bear Rovers and Castleack. But one league that is continuing to develop into an intriguing title battle and has 3 games down for decision on Sunday is the Lakehouse Beauty Room 7 Women's Sevens League. Drina Rangers AFC unbeaten, 5 out of 5 on top of the table and 15 points. Defending champions Inter Kenmare on 13 in second, and Drina women's team on 12 points. All of those 3 are in action this weekend. Bantry will be the venue for a triple header between Inter Kenmare and Bantry Bear Rovers. Drina women's taking on Beara AFC, and Drina Rangers AFC taking on Beara women's. Now there's been some fantastic games in that. It's getting improving with every weekend. Everyone that has been watching those games and covering those games is saying the standard is certainly improving. But are you surprised to see a Drina team top of the table, even though it's the Women's Sevens League as well as the Masters and the Drina?
I've seen Inter Kenmare before, and the 11-side ladies. They were outstanding. Fantastic footballers altogether. But yeah, it seems to be 2 horse race there. So now the Drina AFC and Inter Kenmare will be a fascinating game. The standard is outstanding. Listen to what Conley and John Buckley have been talking about. It's been outstanding, like the ladies at the moment. Like, so if anyone's around and some here, Bentry Astro, the Manway Astro, they should go over and have a look at it. Maybe we might get another ladies team entered.
Exactly, yeah, it's a good point. And remember, that triple header of games starts at 12:30 between Inter Kenmare and Bantry Bear Rovers, immediately followed at 1:45 by Drina Women's and Beara AFC, and then followed by the 3 o'clock kickoff by Drina AFC versus Beara Women's. Now, aside from all those league games, next weekend also heralds the opening round, the preliminary round of the 2019-2020 Beamish Cup, and there are 4 preliminary round ties down for decision. At 11 a.m, Castletown Celtic will host Castleack. At the same time, Clonakilty Town will take on Baltimore. Drina Rangers take on Skibbereen, also at 11 o'clock. And then at 2 p.m, Dunmanway Town face Bunratty United in an all-Premier Division tie. Let's just take that one first, because on current form, mostly, it's pretty much, it looks a home banker for Dunmanway Town. It is a cup tie, and you don't want to underestimate Bunratty, even though they haven't picked up any points in the league this year. But you would imagine Dunmanway, with Johnny Kelly now part of that squad, they should be coming through that.
Yeah, you would fancy the Manway. Yeah, look at home, especially the Bunratty. Like, definitely the Manway victory there. But the Beamish Cup is always about shocks. We was constantly always looking forward to playing Premier teams and beating them. Like, so look, you never know. There's always shocks. But yeah, you would fancy the Manway or the Coke and Top there. No matter, right? Will
there be a shock in your game against the championship team, Baltimore?
The game could be in Skibbereen, yes. We're not hoping,
yes.
The cup, because Dara isn't. I don't think Dara will be playable this Sunday. But yeah, we played Baltimore last year, and we went all the way to penalties. and quite possible if we're playing them out in their own patch now, they'll be a lot stronger there with Dan McCone and Leonard and all these lads, and they know the pitch better than we do, and we'll have to be on our toes that day, like, and the shocks are there to be done, look. And quite possible all the way to penalties again, like that game could go. You know, if it's in Dara, I would fancy it's in Dara, but at the moment I don't think it will be in Dara. Like.
Yeah, the weather, of course, like it looks like it's going to be dry this week, but you just don't know which way the weekend is going to go.
Absolutely, yeah.
That Castletown Celtic game against Castleac. Castleac obviously are on a high now, they're on a good run, and Castletown are a team that you've tipped. That has the potential to be a few goals in that one as well.
Yeah, that could be a cracker. That could be a cracking game now, because there's nothing between the teams. I say at the moment, it all depends what Castletown team put out. And look, Castletown are always a good Beamish Cup team. You know, they get the semi-finals there every couple of years, and that's a tricky one, Carl. Could go all the way to penalties again, Jared. Another one, like, you know.
Yeah, and for me, though, the tie of the round, clearly, Drina Rangers at home against anyone, they're always favourites, or usually favourites. But this is a different Skibbereen team they're facing since the start of the season. As you said, John Allen, all the good work on behind the scenes there. The return of JP Reen. Skibbereen have nothing to lose, and a Skibbereen team with nothing to lose will worry Declan, DC, and Don Hurley.
Yeah, nothing to lose there. It's like the Manway fixture. You would fancy Drina to win, like, but you never know. Especially in a cup game, you've nothing to lose, Jared. You just go for it, like, you know. Skibs have nothing to lose in this game, go for it. Yeah, never know. Probably Dreen will sneak it by the odd goal, alright, but Skib could put it up to him fairly well, right, you know.
Indeed they could. So that's a full slate of fixtures currently penciled in, obviously, for the 5th of January, next Sunday. That's the first Sunday of the new year, all weather dependent. And again, as we said, best thing to do is keep an eye on Twitter at West Cork League, on the Facebook page, and also the main westcorkleague.com website, where you'll get the most up to date and up to the minute news on games that are postponed and any games that do fall by the wayside. Hopefully not, because we want to start the new year on a high. Some cracking games on that fixture list, and a lot to look forward to. It's been an excellent 2019. Just before we finish, Moosey, I mean, when you look back, Tor Celtic, I wrote about it in this month's Southern Star, the 2019 Sports Review. One of the things I was asked to write about was Tor Celtic winning their first Beamish Cup in 22 years. But aside from that, Dunmanway Town winning the Premier Division on penalties from Ballydehob, it was an unbelievable season for West Cork League soccer. More the same, hopefully, in 2020.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Look, there were some cracking games. I read it after right off. I played against Pat Lucy a few times, alright, myself over the years. Look, Tor, fantastic. I was at the final. As I said, the Manway Ballydehob League playoff, like that was a massive crowd, like, you know. Hopefully things will go up the same. We won't mention the FAI, Jar.
No.
I was talking to you about it, like.
And I don't think I have enough recording room, so we'll come back to it.
Might get me in trouble. I could say a lot of things could get me in trouble this time.
Please don't. Yeah, I mean, obviously the grassroots, it's hugely important that we keep promoting it and keep it moving, not just at Junior League and Women's League, but also at schoolboys level and Masters level during the summer. There's so much good football, and there's so many dedicated people like yourself and the committees in the background who do it for the love of the game. I think the one thing with all the bad press, and rightly so, the bad press that's been surrounding the game at the top end over the last few months, who knows where that's going to go over the next few months. We're not going to speculate. We don't want to know.
Before I go, Jared, I like a sympathy there to the O'Sullivan family there in Ballydehob.
Yes.
Donald O'Sullivan there, he plays with Ballydehob. His mother passed away there, so like any sympathies there. And also the Stevie Moakes, you know him yourself, you're there, founding member of Clonakilty FC Soccer Club. So sad into the year, but look, please God, everything will go well for everyone else for the rest of the year and the new year, and Happy New Year to everybody. And I have one more podcast before the end of the season.
I'm funny.
I might let fly.
Okay, jeez, fair enough. We let the listeners in for that. A bridge too far, as you said. Maybe we call that podcast a bit too far. Listen, as ever, Mr. Lee, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. And it's just left for me to say to everybody that's been listening to the podcast, downloading the podcast, enjoying the podcast, we are hugely thankful to everybody. The numbers have grown, risen, and stayed steady, which is even more impressive. Remember, you can download the podcast from Spotify or Podbean. You can listen also at any stage as soon as it goes live on YouTube, across the YouTube channels. And if you keep an eye on the West Cork League social media channels, you'll find out when all those things go live and when the next edition is available to download. It's just left for me, your host, Jerry McCarthy, to say a very happy Christmas and a very happy New Year to all our listeners and everybody involved in the West Cork League community. All the best for 2019, and we'll see you all again soon in 2020.